Hey, if you're watching this next clip without a VPN, your IP address can be used for spying or tracking. Keep your IP address and internet activity private, whether you're at home or on the go with NordVPN. Now stay tuned to see how you can save 75% on a 3-year plan.
As we all know, the Trump administration has gotten rid of certain people in the Department of Homeland Security, which means that Trump gets to nominate new people to fill these roles. Now, unfortunately, according to various sources within the White House, he is considering someone named Julie Kircher, and she has a problematic past. Let me give you some more information on her. She's a former executive director of the Federation for American Immigration Reform. And again, she's being considered as an option to lead the agency, Department of Homeland Security. She had also been considered for the deputy director role in recent weeks. Now, what is her background? Well, first off, if she does get nominated, she would have to be confirmed by the Senate, but she would replace Francis Cissna, who is expected to be ousted by the end of this week. Now, the Southern Poverty Law Center has a little information on Kircher, including the fact that she was the ex-leader of that group, and it has been determined as a hate group. So FAIR is how it's usually referred to, and it's a hate group because it promotes hatred of immigrants, especially non-white ones. And Chuck Grassley might push back against this, and I'll give you more details on that in just a second, but Cenk, jump in.
Yeah, so I want to be super clear. She would lead the US Citizenship and Immigration Services under the Department of Homeland Security. And this is not what normally happens. You normally get people with some degree of expertise in the area that have maybe worked in immigration before, or maybe law enforcement, et cetera. Professionals. But Trump doesn't believe that. He nominated a blogger for a judicial seat, and then a Republican senator, John Kennedy from Louisiana, shredded him and proved that he'd barely ever seen the inside of a courtroom. And so here we have someone who's like, yeah, I don't like immigrants. I'm gonna blog about it. And they don't belong in this country. And FAIR has a long history of writing outrageous things. And it's not lightly that the Southern Poverty Law Center puts them as a hate group. It's not like, hey, they're against illegal immigration, so we're gonna call them a hate group. No, the way that they have written about immigration and immigrants and Latinos in particular is why they got classified that way. So it's an absolutely outrageous consideration. And Cissna, the guy that he's thinking of getting rid of, is actually deeply, deeply right wing.
But not right wing enough for Trump.
Yeah, and it's not maybe even that he's not right wing enough, he's just not a loyalist. And so that's part of why Chuck Grassley, who's a Republican from Iowa, is mad. I mean, Cissna worked for him, so it's partly personal in that sense. But a lot of the Republican senators are like, what are you doing? These guys are all massive right wingers, like we all are. But what? Because they're not loyal to you enough that they won't. And one of the real problems is that even some of these deep right wingers that are in the government won't break the law, and it's driving Trump crazy. When he gives an illegal order, they won't carry it out. And so he's like, that's it. I don't care what your ideology is. I'm just gonna put in a blogger who'll break the law for me.
Now, Senator Grassley has become increasingly vocal in his objections to what Trump is doing in the Department of Homeland Security. So for instance, it appears that Trump is also looking to get rid of Kathy Newbell Kovaric. We actually talked about that earlier in this week. And another former staffer who heads the USCIS office, policy and strategy, on policy and strategy, sorry. And so these are all people that Grassley actually likes because they do follow the law and they appear to have some level of intelligence. And so here's what he says when Politico reaches out for comment. I heard that they are on the list to be fired. They're doing in an intellectual-like way what the president wants to accomplish, so no, they should not go.
Do you understand what he's saying there? He's saying Trump's an idiot. So these are right wingers who actually get what we want done, which is to block immigration, but they're doing it in a smart way so the idiot Donald Trump can't understand it. So that's the reference that the Republican senator from Iowa is making. Because they're all frustrated. He keeps firing every professional there is. So now this is going to be fourth or fifth person and the Department of Homeland Security leadership that he's getting rid of. And we told you a couple of days ago, the number one reason is he gives illegal orders like you're to do things that would just simply violate the law. And then the agents ask their leaders, should we do that? Or could we get arrested? And the leadership says you could get arrested, so don't do it. And then Trump loses it. So he says, okay, they're supposed to come in, when they come into the country, you're supposed to give them legal rights, okay? Now that doesn't mean that they get to stay, but you have to follow American law. And Trump says, do not follow American law. Tell them the country is full and kick him out. Like, okay, so now they're under jeopardy of getting arrested. But so if he finds these people who hates the ethnic groups that those folks are in, yeah, they might break the law for him. So we'll see how that goes.
And remember, behind the scenes, the person who's pushing Trump to act this way is Stephen Miller, who has a deep disdain for immigration and for immigrants. And so it's kind of sad. I mean, you're being manipulated by Stephen Miller, Trump? It's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're peas in a pod, but they're both monsters. Stephen Miller, like he was deeply unpopular when he went to high school in LA, and so he's still bitter about it. And
was he spraying on hair when he was in school? Is that why he was unpopular?
Maybe it was because he was a bitter, deeply hateful guy back then, and so that didn't play well. And so he just got more and more and more resentful until he got to the White House, and he's like, yes, now I could take it on all the people who are mean to me, right? And I'm gonna be way meaner to them. I'll show them. And Trump's like, oh, this is my kind of guy. I like this guy. What is he, 33 years old? That's it, right?
Is he really 33?
Yeah, he's like a bitter kid. He's like one of those loser kids who's mad at the whole world. And so now he found Daddy Trump, and together they're trying to break the law and change the system of government that we have. It's disgusting. Now, more about how you can save 75% off the only VPN to receive a perfect score from PC Mag. Just simply head over to nordvpn.com/TYT to keep yourself protected from prying eyes. And for a short time only, use the code TYT to get an extra month of Nord for free. Thanks for watching.